Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Sal Mahajan. And in today's video, we are going to continue our series related to the AWS Cloud Practitioner Certification. And we are about to dive into our first domain, that is cloud concepts. So let's start off with the basics that, what is cloud computing? So going off, it's basically a network of computers that are connected around the world that stores and process data. So you can basically think of cloud computing as like, hundreds of computers that are connected together, and they can store data and they can process data. That's, as simple as we can go. Cloud computing basically means using the internet to access a network of computers that store and process your data instead of using your own local computer. So basically, you use your own computer. You through the internet, you access this network of computers and you try to process your data, or you store your data on those computers instead of your own computer. A very simple example to think of cloud computing is Google Drive versus your laptop's hard drive. So you storing something on Google Drive is basically not the same as you storing a file on your hard drive. So over here, Google Drive is basically called cloud computing, and your laptop is basically called on-prem, that is, your own laptop. So this was, it's a really straightforward example. How can you differentiate between cloud computing and on-prem? So, cloud computing is basically where you store something on the cloud that is on someone else's computer. And so cloud is basically just a metaphor for the internet. Data is stored and processed in data centers. So cloud, just a metaphor. In real, there is a server, or there is some physical device that basically processes your data and stores your data. And these physical locations are called data center. So you can see here, data center is basically a physical building with servers. And you can think of servers as basically computers. And what do these servers do? These servers will store your data, or will process your data, or do whatever you want to do, but not on your own computer, on someone else's computer. So an example, like, we're studying for the AWS certification. So you're going to be like, hey, AWS, I don't have space on my device to store, this 100 GB worth of data. Can you store this data for me? So you're basically saying, hey, AWS, can you store this data for me? And AWS is like, yeah, sure, we can do that. And then they take that data and they store that data into a data center, which is basically just a physical building with servers. And then you heard another word that I said called on-prem or on-premise, which is basically a data center owned and operated by you. Now, of course, you being an individual, you may not have thousands or hundreds of computers, but your laptop is also considered as a data center, or your laptop is also considered as on-prem. So on-prem is something wherein you maintain everything. So any files that are stored on your local laptop, that's basically your responsibility. You are responsible for that, and you're taking care of that, of the storage, that you don't cross your limits and all that stuff. Now let's continue our discussion about cloud computing. Let's talk about a couple of key features of cloud computing. You can access it anywhere and anytime. So basically, as long as you have internet connection, and a laptop, a desktop, or even your mobile phone or a smartphone, you can access the cloud at anywhere and any time. Again, a really simple feature. Google Drive or Google Photos. You can access Google Photos on your laptop, on your mobile phone, your smartphones, and any such device that has the internet and web connectivity. So that's the same for cloud computing. You can basically access it anywhere, anytime, as long as you got an internet and a device that connects to the internet. You don't need to own any physical hardware. Again, now when you upload your files to Google Drive, or you upload your photos to Google Photos, you don't care how those files or how those photos or files are being stored, right? You're just saying that, hey, Google, take these photos of mine, take these files of mine, and store them however you want, but I should be able to access them whenever I want to, and so on. That's basically, you don't care how it's being stored, where it's being stored. But in the same thing, if you're trying to store a file on your local laptop, you have to own the laptop to store it on your laptop, right? So that's another key feature of cloud computing, that you don't need to own any physical hardware to basically use it. And another amazing feature about cloud computing is you basically only pay for what you use. So if you're going to use like 100 GB of cloud storage, you're only paying for 100 GB of cloud storage. You're not going to pay for that whole server or that whole computer that is created or ran by the cloud provider. Now, you guys heard me say cloud provider multiple times, so let's dive into the definition of cloud providers. Cloud providers is basically a company that provides these cloud services to you, and they own the data centers and operate them. So couple of examples, of course, is Amazon Web Services, because we're studying for the AWS certification. You have Microsoft Azure, you have Google Cloud, you have DigitalOcean, and you have much, much more. Now, Google, for example, Google is providing you a cloud service that is called Google Drive. So Google is basically your cloud provider. It is the company that provides you Google Drive, that's a cloud service, and they own all of the data centers, and they also make sure that they operate them, they maintain them, and so on. Let's dive into some everyday examples of cloud computing. You have streaming services like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify. You just basically have a laptop or your mobile phone, smartphone. You just go to the internet and you're like, hey Netflix, I want to watch something. Now Netflix goes ahead and streams that movie or TV show to you, and the same for YouTube or Spotify music. You really don't care about the underlying hardware, the underlying infrastructure, or anything like that. You say that, hey, you're basically subscribing for a service from Netflix, YouTube, or Spotify. You have online storages. We spoke about this quite a lot. You have like Google Drive, you have Microsoft OneDrive. These are online storages wherein you can store files, photos, or anything, as a matter of fact. And it's made available for you. And you have email services like Gmail and Outlook. So really, cloud computing is something related to everything that we use on a daily basis. It's not a new concept. It's not something that's out of the box, or something that's very extraordinary. It's these small simple services that we use on a daily basis. This relates to cloud computing. And this is really important information, so you guys have good understanding related to the basics of cloud computing. So we went through a quick overview related to the the basics of cloud computing, and in the next video we're going to dive into some benefits related to cloud computing. So I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, do subscribe, and do comment if there are any other topics out there that you guys would like me to cover. I hope you guys have a great day ahead. See ya, take care, bye bye.